Approximately 700 years or so before Jesus was born, the prophet Isaiah wrote these words in Isaiah chapter 42. A bruised reed he will not break, and a smouldering wick he will not snuff out. And when we come to the Gospel according to Matthew, in Matthew chapter 12 and at verse 20, we find Matthew applying this prophecy to Jesus. A bruised reed he will not break, and a smouldering wick he will not snuff out. Let me read to you and share with you some words I read a few days ago from Charles Spurgeon. He begins by addressing those of us who feel weak in our faith, and then goes on to mention this verse as well, and Christ's great tenderness with us when we are feeling as if we are a smouldering wick and a bruised reed. So let me share with you what Spurgeon says. Are you mourning, believer, because your spiritual life is so weak, because your faith is so small, your love so feeble? Cheer up, because you have reason to be grateful. Remember that in some things you are equal to the greatest and most mature Christian. You are as much purchased with blood as he is. You are just as much an adopted child of God as any other believer. An infant is as truly a child of its parents as is a full-grown man. You are as completely justified, for your justification is not a matter of degree. Your little faith has made you clean every bit. You have as much right to the precious things of the covenant as the most advanced believers. For your right to covenant mercies does not lie in your growth, but in the covenant itself. And your faith in Jesus is not the measure, but the token of your inheritance. You are as rich as the richest. You are as dear to your Father's heart as the greatest in the family. Jesus is very tender toward you. You are like the faintly burning wick. A rougher spirit would say, put out that useless flame. It fills the room with an offensive odour. But the feeble wick he will not quench. You are like a bruised reed, and any less tender hand than that of the chief musician would tread upon you or throw you away. But he will never break the bruised reed. So, instead of being downcast by reason of what you are, you should rejoice in Christ. Am I but small and feeble in the vast company of believers? Yet in Christ I am made to sit in heavenly places. Am I poor in faith? Yet in Jesus I am heir of all things. I do not need to boast or elevate myself. Even as an infant in Christ, I will rejoice in the Lord and glory in the God of my salvation.